I am because we are. The Ubuntu philosophy that could save your soul. You can't be human all by yourself. Quote by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. You've been told to find yourself, to define yourself, to market yourself. But what if the self isn't something you build like a brand? What if the self is something you become through others? What if your identity isn't locked inside your skull, but held quietly in the eyes of your mother, in the texts from a friend who remembers your birthday, in the stranger who smiles when you hold the door open? What if the real you can't even exist alone? Introduction. What is Ubuntu? You've probably heard the phrase by now. I am because we are. That's Ubuntu. Not a slogan, not a buzzword, but a way of being that comes from deep within African soil. It's the understanding that you're not a person all by yourself. You become who you are through others, through care, through conflict, through connection. Ubuntu says your story doesn't begin at the edges of your skin. It begins in the space between you and someone else. It's how Desmond Tutu helped South Africa heal, how communities raise children without checking if they're mine. And it's how even now you find meaning in the glance of a friend who gets it, or in that unspoken feeling when someone shows up just when you needed them. Ubuntu isn't a philosophy you memorize. It's one you remember, in your bones, in your people, in your becoming. Part 1. You are not alone. You never were. Look around. This world keeps whispering, stand out, be different, make your mark. And maybe you've tried. You've curated the feed. You've built the resume. You've created the highlight reel of a life. But in the middle of the night, when the screen goes dark and the room goes quiet, don't you sometimes feel like a ghost haunting your own body? Like you're here, but no one sees you? Like you're performing for no one? Ubuntu tells you a different story. A softer one, a truer one. I am because we are. You are made through relationship. You are not a solo act. You're a harmony. Your laughter only echoes because someone laughed with you. Your grief only hurts because someone mattered. And that's not weakness. That's what it means to be human. Part 2. How the West taught you to be alone. Let's not pretend you made this feeling up. The loneliness, the burnout, the ache for something real. You were born into a system that told you the lie of radical individuality. Be the best. Be the first. Be separate. Compete. Consume. Win. And maybe you did. You won. You achieved. But something hollowed out in the process. Because you can't compete and connect at the same time. You can't love and dominate at once. You can't belong and outperform in the same breath. Ubuntu doesn't ask you to dissolve into the crowd. It invites you to root deeper. Not less you, but a truer you. A you that is shaped through care, through kindness, through presence. Part 3. Your quiet contributions are sacred. There's this lie inside you. that you're only valuable if you're loud, if you're visible, if people click your name or re-share your post. But Ubuntu whispers something different. Even the unseen threads hold the fabric together. You know the person who always brings the extra snacks? The one who texts the group chat, "Hey, how's everyone doing?" The one who notices when someone's gone quiet. That person is the soul of the room. And maybe that person is you. You don't need a platform to matter. You need presence. You don't need applause. You need integrity. You are not less just because you are quiet. You might be the reason the group holds together. Ubuntu sees you. Part 4. Dreams, Myths, and the Web of Life. There's an old Zulu story about a man who forgot who he was. He wandered into the desert, chasing wealth, chasing prestige. He became powerful, but empty. His dreams stopped making sense. He forgot his mother's face. One day, he met a blind woman in the wilderness. She asked him, "Child, who sings your name?" He didn't know. In many African traditions, a child's identity is not just a label. It's sung into being by their community. Your name, your being, is echoed in the mouths of others. You are real because others remember you. In dreams, we're often not alone. There are guides, ancestors, strangers, lovers. Even in sleep, the self seeks others to become whole. What if every myth of the hero is incomplete unless the hero comes home, unless the healing ripples outward? What if the story isn't about the throne, but about the hands that lifted you up? Part 5. Why it hurts and why it matters. Let's talk about why this matters now. Right now, you're living through an age of hyper-performance, where even grief is something to optimize, where rest feels like failure, where community is a word you type more than really live it. And you feel it, don't you? The echo when no one texts back. The pressure to say something clever instead of something real. The shame of crying alone. The quiet panic of being so online and still so unseen. Ubuntu is not nostalgia. It's not utopia. It's medicine. It's a slow, radical remembering that maybe the purpose of life is not to be impressive, but to be in relation, to be someone who shows up, who remembers birthdays, who forgives, who lets others rest, who makes space for others to be human, and in doing that, becomes fully human too. Part 6. How to practice Ubuntu in a fractured world. Start small. Don't wait for the world to get soft. Start by softening yourself. Call the friend you've been avoiding. Share your food without calculating favors. Say, "I see you," to the person who always feels invisible. Hold the silence instead of filling it with noise. Ask someone, "What do you need?" and mean it. At work, be the one who lifts, not competes. In family, notice the quiet roles and honor them. In activism, remember, justice is not just policy, it's proximity. Proximity to pain, proximity to love, proximity to others. Ubuntu doesn't mean you say yes to everything. It means when you say yes, it's because you're with others, not despite them. You can still have boundaries, but let them be loving fences, not walls of pride. Part 7. The future is shared or it isn't. You're not meant to carry this alone. And maybe you don't need another self-help hack. Maybe what you need is someone to walk with. Maybe the next step isn't upward. Maybe it's inward and then outward, into the lives of others. Because here's the truth. You will be remembered not for what you built, but for who felt safe in your presence. Not for how much you earned, but for who became more themselves because of you. Not for your brand, but for your belonging. You are not a brand. You are not a product. You are not an algorithm. You are a soul. Woven into the lives of others, you are a note in the song of a people, and someone, somewhere, is humming your name. Final words, Ubuntu begins with you. So the next time you feel lost, ask yourself a different question. Not, who am I? But who am I to others? And who are they to me? You were not made to outshine others. You were made to shine together. Ubuntu isn't a philosophy. It's a heartbeat. Let it live in you. Let it move through you. Let it remind you. I am because we are. And we are not done healing yet.